Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to our math class where learning math is fun. I am Faithlyn Williams, your teacher for today. In today's session, we will be exploring skip counting. To begin our lesson, we will look at three friends who went to the beach over the summer holiday. Mark, Lamar, and Jaden went walking along the beach when suddenly they decided to collect shells. When the three boys returned, they began counting their shells. Mark heard Lamar counting and noticed that he was placing the shells in groups. This is how Lamar placed the shells in groups and wrote the numbers below each group. Lamar counted 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Mark wondered how Lamar counted his shells so quickly. What do you notice about the way Lamar counted his shells? If you said Lamar counted by 2, you are correct. But Mark was even more curious when he looked at how Jaden counted the number of shells he collected. He noticed that Jaden had the numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17. What do you notice about the way Jaden counted his shells? Boys and girls, if you said Jaden counted by 2, you are correct. Maybe you are wondering how could Jaden and Lamar count by 2 and get different numbers? Do you agree that both Lamar and Jaden were counting by 2? Let us look at the numbers and check to see how Lamar and Jaden were counting by 2 but got different numbers. Let us use the 100 chart to see how Lamar counted his shells. You will see a red circle appear around the numbers. Say the numbers with me. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Now let us look at the way Jaden counted his shells. Count with me. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17. What do you notice about the way the two friends counted their shells? When I ask you to tell me what you notice, I want you to look at what is different and what is the same about the counting. Are you ready to share? If you said you noticed that Lamar started at the number 2 and Jaden started at the number 1, but they both were skipping every other number, that's an excellent observation. Therefore, we can say counting by 2 means skipping every other number. We can see that both Lamar and Jaden were using the same counting pattern since they left out every other number in the groups they counted. This kind of counting is called skip counting. Skip counting means counting by skipping some of the numbers. It is also the process of counting objects in equal groups. To skip count, we keep adding the same number each time to the previous number. So boys and girls, we just saw where Lamar and Jaden skip counted by 2. Do you think you can skip count by 3? Let us use the 100 chart to note the numbers we land on when we skip count by 3, starting at 3. Say the numbers with me. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on. I wonder if you could tell me what counting pattern you notice when we skip count by 3. If you said we skip 2 numbers when counting by 3, you are correct. Or that we added 3 every time we get to the next number, then you are indeed correct. Boys and girls, you are doing so great at skip counting. Now look at this counting pattern and tell me what number we're skip counting by. Count with me. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. Did you say we are skip counting by 4? That's correct, boys and girls. Can you also tell me what you notice about the counting pattern? If you said we skip 3 numbers when counting by 4, you are correct. Or that we added 4 every time to get the next number, then you are right on point. Boys and girls, you are doing so well with skip counting. I have a few challenges for you to test your skill. The first challenge is for you to complete this counting pattern starting at 5. In order to complete this counting pattern, you must first identify what number we are skip counting by. Do you know what that number is, boys and girls? Once you have identified the number we are skip counting by, the second thing you need to do is to skip count by this number to fill in the missing numbers that complete the counting pattern. Great observation! If you said we are skip counting by 5, that is correct. What are the numbers that should be in the boxes in order to complete this counting pattern? Excellent effort, boys and girls. If you said 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 are the numbers which complete this counting pattern, you did well. Boys and girls, you're doing so well at skip counting. I want you to do one more thing for me. Look at the numbers in this counting pattern and tell me what you notice when we skip count by 5, starting at 5. Are you ready with an answer? Another excellent observation, boys and girls. If you said you noticed that the digit in the ones place has 5 or 0 when we started at 5, that is great. You can see this on our 100 chart. Count with me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and we could go on. Now, boys and girls, since you have been doing so well, I have another challenge for you. Look at this counting pattern. Do you know the numbers that are missing? Boys and girls, if you said the missing numbers are 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, that is brilliant. Now tell me how you were able to identify the missing numbers. Great going, boys and girls. If you said you were able to identify the missing numbers because you saw that we were skip counting by 10, that is brilliant. Now tell me, boys and girls, do you notice anything special about the numbers when we skip count by 10, starting from 10? If you said you noticed that there is always a 0 in the ones place when we skip count by 10, beginning at 10, you are correct. Wow, boys and girls, I want you to practice your skip counting skill some more. Here is another challenge for you. When you skip count by 5, what number comes after 65? Amazing, boys and girls. If you said 70 comes after 65 when skip counting by 5, you are correct. And now, here is your final challenge. Abigail's mom makes masks to sell to schools and shops in her community. She packaged the masks as seen here. Can you tell how many masks are in each set? Are you ready with an answer? Great job, boys and girls. If you said there are 4 masks in each set because you noticed we were skip counting by 4, you are correct. Now, can you tell what are the missing numbers for the packages without numbers? Excellent, boys and girls. If you said the missing numbers are 4, 8, 24, 28, and 32, that is absolutely correct. Let's count the number of masks together. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. Boys and girls, it's amazing to see how well you have done with skip counting today. Remember now, skip counting means counting by skipping some of the numbers. It is also the process of counting objects in equal groups. To skip count, we keep adding the same number each time to the previous number. That's all for today, boys and girls. See you next time.